How's it going, everyone? It's time for another movie-themed class setup for Black Ops 2. I tweeted out recently whether you guys wanted to see a Dread setup, a Matrix setup, or a Rambo setup over on my Twitter and Facebook accounts, and Rambo was the sure winner. So I've been watching back the quadrilogy as it is now. I think there's going to be a new one released in the next few years. But I've watched back all the movies to refresh my memory of all the weapons used. So we're going to make this setup based on the Rambo movies and all the famous weapons associated with the Rambo. This is the third time I've done a Rambo setup for Call of Duty. I first did it back in Black Ops and in Modern Warfare 3, both using the M60 machine gun, which is true to the First Blood and First Blood Part 2 movies. Obviously we've got those iconic scenes of Rambo wielding the M60 and blowing up just about everything in his path. This time around, unfortunately, we don't have the M60 available, but we can make a selection of the Mark 48, which is kind of like a successor to the M60. And it fits in perfectly with this setup, with it being quite a slow-firing heavyweight LMG. We've got 100 rounds as standard, but we'll want to extend that a little bit with the extended clip attachment. In Black Ops 2, we don't get half as much of an increase as we did in previous Call of Duties. Usually an extended MyGun and LMG like this would increase that 100 rounds up to 200, but in Black Ops 2 we only get a measly extra 35 rounds. But still we'll want as many rounds as possible to relate to the movies, especially that scene from First Blood Part 2, where he absolutely tears apart the command centre with about a minute's worth of prolonged fire from his M60. In all movies, Rambo manages to spray down all the bad guys just by firing from the hip. The crazy LMG hip-fire spread in Black Ops 2 means you're just going to end up dead if you try this in game, but we'll spend an extra point on the laser sight just to tighten up that hip-fire spread to slightly increase your chances of actually securing a hit. But still, hip-firing with the Mark 48 is definitely not the way to go, so we're going to have to at least come out of character a little bit and aim down sights with our weapon in game. Another iconic weapon from the second and third Rambo movies, and even a little scene in the fourth movie, is Rambo's bow and arrow. The best way we can relate to this in game is to equip that crossbow, and while it is a crossbow as opposed to a longbow, at least it does have those explosive tips, which means it can blow apart our enemies just like in that Rambo movie. I think the most iconic weapon from the Rambo movies, aside from the M60 and of course his bow and arrow, is his combat knife.
Why would you be carrying a knife like this?
Hunting.
We've got the knife equipped as standard, but I think another piece of equipment in Black Ops 2 that well relates to this is the combat axe. We saw Rambo's combat knife in Rambo's 1, 2 and 3, and then he kind of upgraded to this massive machete in the more recent Rambo movie from 2008. So who knows, in the next one that's no doubt due to come in the next few years, he might have upgraded to the next step to some kind of combat axe. So moving on, let's finish off this setup with a look at some perks and score streak awards. Rambo spends a lot of his time sneaking around before springing his surprise attacks on his unsuspecting foes. So for perk number 1 we'll go with Ghost to help keep us off the radar so we can remain undetected while moving around the map before unleashing chaos with our Mark 48 crossbow combination. Rambo's a highly trained war veteran who's obviously pretty tough, so we'll go with the toughness perk for slot number 1. Then we'll double up and go with the perk 2 greed wildcard to also run the scavenger tier 2 perk. As we've seen in pretty much all the movies, Rambo seems to be able to scavenge whatever weapons and resources he needs. Throughout the different movies he's seen using an RPK, an RPG and various other machine guns. But not only does the name Scavenger relate to this, the Scavenger perk in Black Ops 2 is also going to give us never-ending firepower from our Mark 48. Then finally, for slot number 3 we'll go with Extreme Conditioning to relate to the fact that Rambo's a non-stop killing machine. Then as for score streak awards, I think the kill streak setup in my original Rambo setup in Black Ops 1 was more true to the movies, but we can make a few selections from what's available in Black Ops 2, first of which we'll go with the sentry gun. Rambo's never afraid to jump on any kind of mounted machine gun to destroy the bad guys. So in game we'll go with the sentry gun so we can create itself a mounted turret, then actually sit back and control it ourselves. One of the kill streaks that was a good fit back in Black Ops 1 was the gunship to relate to the Hind helicopter that we see in Rambo 3. Obviously this is not available anymore in Black Ops 2, but instead we can go with the stealth chopper to kind of relate to the various helicopter scenes throughout the movies. Then finally, one Score Street award which links into the first movie pretty well is the K9 unit. Obviously the police force used various dogs to try and hunt Rambo out, obviously proving quite unsuccessful. So if you're a fan of the Rambo movies, definitely give this class a try, although it's not really one you'll want to try and get any good scores with. That slow aim speed of the LMGs really puts you at a disadvantage without the quick draw handle and or the dexterity perk, and that extended clip and the laser sight don't really give you any major advantages to the Mark 48. I'd much prefer going with the quick draw handle and the FMJ rounds, if not an optic of some kind. But these movie themed classes are all about having some fun and setting up a loadout that's not necessarily competitive in game, so find yourself some kind of red headband and go on a Rambo rampage in Black Ops 2. It's good fun getting into character and spraying that LMG from the hip and swapping out to that crossbow to blow people apart. I personally never got anywhere near getting that K9 unit, but let me know down in the comments if you managed to go on a nice kill streak with this setup. If you'd have some fun with this class, or if you're just a fan of the Rambo movies or enjoyed my video, I'd really appreciate a like down below just to help spread the word and share the video with your friends. If you want to know what other kind of movie themed loadouts are in the works, come and follow me on Twitter and Facebook for little updates. Otherwise, thanks for watching, I'll catch you all later.